This is the header of the Facebook page. The crucifix is a morbid display. The crucifix is a morbid display, and is Christianity's most important image. This crucifix means everything to the Christians, which demonstrates the horrific mindset of these people. This was the only way, apparently, from a God who is capable of anything. Gory violence and excruciating pain was the only way, from a God who could only create life that's beneath him. Even if this religion is the truth, people don't care about the horror of it. They will say God is good no matter what. How was his crucifixion a sacrifice then? Most other atheists would tell you Christians the sacrifice wasn't so if Jesus resurrected after a few days. I'm asking you how it was a legitimate sacrifice. I get that dying on the cross and then ascending to heaven is what happens to us after death, according to Christianity. However, I don't see how accepting this sacrifice is a payment for sin, what death has to do with sin. How would you Christians treat Jesus if he did come down in your lifetime? How are children angels if we're all born with original sin? That girl isn't a newborn baby, however, that girl is about 3 years old, which is not old enough to understand what she is trying to pick up, or what it means. How does picking that cross up ease his pain, anyway? Jesus wouldn't have needed to exist if God just abstained from creating us. Why do you want this morbidity, which you call love? So, why can't the middle ground of non-existence be an option, instead of God's dictatorial dichotomy of either him or hell? Why do you agree that those who don't accept Jesus deserve to burn? All this horror and insanity because God deliberately created flawed life that triggered him. Nobody was harmed, just God's feelings were hurt. How is walking alongside people who are suffering a compassionate vision? Why are they even suffering? Maybe you should be asking that question instead of referencing the Bible about this vision. Jesus was miraculously born because mankind are sinners. What's all of this shit about Jesus performing miracles, raising the dead, preaching love and helping the needy, sympathizing with the suffering, and having disciples all have to do with men being sinners? Maybe those people didn't appreciate this guy walking around, shoving his miraculous abilities in their face. These people were all sinners, yet they wouldn't have been able to do what Jesus did if they... Wait a minute. They can't be perfect. God made them imperfect because Adam and Eve disobeyed God. God simply added insult to injury by impregnating Mary. Jesus would be like the rich boss's son, working in his business and being a condescending asshole to his co-workers. Who is this Son of Man? I keep hearing about the Son of God. The problem here is, you Christians don't like us rejecting this Son of Man, which is why you argue after preaching at us, which is also blaspheming against God because he gave us the free will to live in sin. Doesn't sound like you really believe this religion is true. You don't sound very worried about God's wrath. God gave us all free will, so leave us the fuck alone, you fucking jerks. You don't like sin? Well, God gave us free will, so take it up with him, not us. Why not just chalk sin down to being a part of God's plan, like you do with terminal illness and natural disasters, or him working mysteriously? I guess I should say Adam and Eve, because God can't do any wrong. He only created the life that disobeyed him because he gave Adam and Eve the free will to do so. Or better yet, blame the serpent.